Hi everyone, it's Curse Magpie's YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video on my channel. And today I just like to address something about Carlton Football Club at the moment. Now, for those who return Magpies, welcome. If you're new to the channel, watching this for the first time, welcome. Like, comment and subscribe if you like the videos I'm making. Now, look, I tend to... Now, with the whole Carlton situation, alright. I thought they were brave enough against Richmond. Going through these games and how I think. I thought Richmond were too good in the end off that round one. And the reason why, because the fans, the YouTubers that build up games, and I know myself, like I like to build up a game, like big game against Essendon for example. I'm not going to try and build that up because it's Anzac Day. It's a game where it doesn't matter where these two teams on the ladder, you're always going to expect 90,000 people. But Carlton's lost. They fought back a little bit off in the last quarter. I would say that they made it more respectable. But the problem is with this team at the moment, the VFL team were over 30 points in front and they lost by a point. They choked to a Southport team from the Queensland League. So you think the way why the club, 2-3, to be honest. Promenades mentioned Collingwood, and mate, appreciate you mentioning us. That we're the only team that hasn't been Collingwood. To me, the teams that we can struggle with are against GWS. Now, if we can somehow beat them, and look, we've struggled to beat Hawthorn in the past. We've had a couple wins. Going back to last year when I picked against us and when we won that game. I feel with Carlton, and they're not in a rebuild situation. I honestly thought start of the season, during pre-season and afterwards, is that if they can clean up these 5-goal runs, they'll be a decent team. They might make finals. I certainly had them in the 8. I don't know what this team is up to, and it just shows. Right. 4 goes 2 to 3-3. Now, for me, that just tells you how that Carlton had their chances of kicking goals. Now, I don't know if because it's Cripps. Because he's the captain of that football club with Sam Doherty. Right. A player who's supposed to be the captain, I'm pretty sure they're co-captain Promenades and Blue Board. Please, let me know in the comments and please correct me if I am wrong. But I see the way they're playing the first quarter, and I see how, okay, if they kicked a couple goals and probably had most of the footy, it's that chance of, okay, well, I'm going to give them, so if I miss a goal, it's fine. But these misses that Carlton have had in the first quarter hurt you. Even the second quarter, as we look, 8 goals 4 to 4-5. So it's like one goal 2 in that second quarter, and they get blown out the window big time. That's not good enough in my book. Carlton are, as much as I don't like to say this, and you know, and you know how I build this up like they're playing a bunch of girls. At the moment, I don't think no one wants to go out there and win. I don't think so. To be honest with you, it's a culture. It's a losing culture at that football club, that they think that we're in the hunt to play finals, and we want to play finals. We want to do this, we want to do that. I don't think that they mean to play. You know, I don't think they want this enough. I don't think they mean. I don't think they know the meaning of it. So, I just think with Carlton itself, they play shocking when it comes with getting the ball across half-back. The running carry style does not work all the time. Even the third quarter, we go by 6-10. That's what, 2-5 compared to 6-1. That just tells me that the game is over right there. When you concede inaccurate kicking in 4 quarters of football, it ain't good enough. Now, I talked about in the Collingwood review, I talked about the Collingwood situation, how us fans are, you know, we get criticised for saying, trust Bucks. It's not always the coaches, it's the play. You know, it's not the place that they're trying hard. But I guarantee you, it doesn't cut it. Even for Carlton, it does not fucking cut it. You know, in the last quarter, here, 3 goes 4 to 1-1. Now, Port Adelaide stopped and they allowed Carlton to get back into the game. And there's no fight in Carlton whatsoever in their games. Now, you look at the Collingwood game, classic example. I started this, I was the first one. I didn't post up the first one, I thought I'll redo it. Technically, Eno Blue Board did. But these Carlton supporters, these Carlton YouTubers get themselves up for big games like against Collingwood. And you just look at it, you think, you know, that was a worse loss, blah, blah, blah. I just think that we were too good for Carlton. We find a way to win. Look, when 1-4, we played well against West Coast. And they're the teams that it can either go either way. And we have a record against Richmond. Now, we drew against them last year. The year before that, it was 1 each. We beat them early on the year. Late on the year when we were struggling, we were poor. Even in 2018, we beat them in the prelim and we came close to them twice. We have the game plan to do it. It's just that we got to play 4 quarters. Now, there are times where in 29, now sometimes in our ball movement, which I understand, look, there are times we need to go quicker and it's times we need to go slower. Carlton's game plan is run and dash. Now, if you make Adam Sard, and I'm going to say this, and I don't care, like, come at me in the comments for this. Adam Sard does not defend. Now, the reason why he wanted to go out at Essendon, because they want to play finals. You look at Essendon, they played poorly against the Brisbane Lions in the wet, kicked inaccurate. And that's the one game, like, if Essendon played well, closely, thinking and tempting to pick Essendon over my boys. But we played better than Carlton. So, the wins against Fremantle, which I wasn't expecting to be that much, the Gold Coast Suns, they only just got over the line there. 2 goals in the end, I think it was. So about 12 points. We go, no, here we go, game against Port Adelaide. The Mark Luch, the president there, goes up and says, got this feeling that we're going to win, blah, 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 blah. And Pomeroy's is right, that it comes from the club. It comes from the club, it comes from the coaching staff, it comes from the players. The players' job is to try. That's all they need to do. Now, I look at Collingwood, and yet we have the balls, right? And we'll cop heat from this. We have the balls to get rid of Adam Treloar, Jaden Stevenson, and Tom Phillips. Tom Phillips, because of our salary cap. Did Carlton get rid of a guy like Mitch McGovern? Now, I think he should play this week because he hasn't had enough impact on that. And I think that's the problem. At playing in the reserves. One of the guys I think has had 30 possessions. It's not news. Setterfield gets dropped. Cottrell, I thought, did pretty good. But it matters now that you got to start performing. And I don't see enough in Carlton where the reserves, if one guy's having 30-something possessions per game, in the reserves, in the scratch, practice matches, and he's not getting a game, I think he should get a game. Carlton don't have the balls to make tough decisions. And I think they're guys like Mark Murphy. Let's be honest, I know Terry from Blue Ball loves him. Eddie Betts as well. I don't think there's enough balls and decision to get rid of him. There's no one on that Carlton list, in that list management, will have the balls to get rid of some of these players that should not be playing. Drop them in the VFL. At least you give your team a bit of a chance. Now, I think that's a problem, and that's a cancer culture, that the cancer in that culture of not being able to win the big games. Now, look, to be honest, I did not think Port would, I did not think that Port would lose that. Now, Carlton, I thought would be a competitive game, considering all what we know about Carlton. But that game when you only lose by 28 points, that could have been a lot more. And look, Pomeroy is right, Terry's right. I think why don't and this is my question to the Carlton fans out there: why doesn't David Teague get angry enough? Are there injuries a massive concern? And we've had a lot of injuries, and I'm 2018, 2019, we've had a lot of injuries, and yet we still play in a grand final and a prelim. And that was us. We've lost Adam Treloar for 9 weeks with the double hamstrings. Now, I know some of our people, my people, the supporters, that go on about Adam Treloar, say, look what he's doing now. Yes, he's only doing that because he's got people around him. He doesn't have to be an inside midfield. Right? He does turn the ball over. So, and I think that's the problem is, like, Patrick Cripps, he doesn't perform well as a captain. You have Jacob Riedel, like, technically he looked knocked out. He was out for a couple of seconds. He got up, wanted to take his kick. The umpire should have blew the whistle and said, mate, you're going off for a concussion sub. Because now what's going to happen now is that there's going to be critical questions on how Carlton play. And if we don't see that now in how they're going to play, I think there's going to be massive concerns. So I think now you look at Jacob Weedon this week and you see what's going to happen. Because I guarantee you there's going to be a lot more failures at that football club. Because if they lose the next couple of games, and they got Brisbane and Essendon, if they lose to Essendon, who, let's be honest, they're a rebuilding team, they're playing with some enthusiastic, that they beat St Kilda. Who have Carlton beaten? They've beaten, obviously you beat the teams in front of you, yeah, fair enough. But have they beat a top 8 team? Now this was a game for me against Port Adelaide, the biggest test. They failed against Richmond, they failed against Collingwood. Now, if I were them, I wouldn't worry about building up massive worries. And yet, look, I'm going to still do it, like, regardless. But I do think that is a massive concern, that we're having problems with Carlton, and yet their board, their list management, their fitness guru up there, the coaching staff. Where's the support for David Teague? Is he the right man for the job? I think he is, but he needs a lot more support. He needs to be angry. He needs to show something that will fight. That game against Brisbane Lions, Cade Simpson even said, like, he wouldn't mind going to a team that are contending. He's been at that culture, that shit culture that's losing games of football, and I think that that's not fair for a legend that he is. He was pushed out. Why didn't they push out Murphy? Why didn't they push out Betts? The same people are playing. So that's, I think something needs to happen, and I don't think that we see it consistently. Well, I hope you guys still like this video. That's going to be the end of it. Like, comment and subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbours, go to pies. Hopefully Carlton shows something this week, because if they don't, big question marks. Until then, see ya and good night.